The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
They tell over a magnificent story. A young girl, 20 years old, by the name of Riva, who lived actually in Eretz Yisrael with her parents. She found herself and her mother sitting in the living room of Rebbitzen Kanievsky, Sadeket Zal. Rebbitzen Kanievsky, waiting to speak to her for her advice, her warmth, her guidance. And the apartment was packed with people. There was nowhere to move. But little by little they watched as people, young ladies, women from all over the world, would walk in and sit down with Rebbitzen Kanievsky. And Rebbitzen Kanievsky, for those who were zochet to see her, for those who were zochet to meet her, every single person was given such warmth, was given a hug and a kiss. She held their hands and she rubbed their hands and she talked to them with such love and warmth. This was the mother of Klal Yisrael. So they were waiting their turn. Well, finally, Riva and her mother was ushered into the room. Rebbitzen Kanievsky sees Riva. She gets out of a chair as if it was an old friend she hasn't seen for years. Runs up to the girl, hugs her, kisses her. Please, come in, sit down. What's the matter? I see that there's so much hurt on your face. What's the matter? Riva drops her head and she doesn't speak, but her mother does. Her mother begins to tell Rebbitzen Kanievsky, my daughter Riva, we gave her the best education of a Bat Yisrael. We brought her up in the best of neighborhoods. We sent her to the best of schools. Whatever she ever needed, whatever she wanted, we provided. She was our pride and joy. And one day, she was out in the city, in a store, purchasing a few items, and there was a young boy there, an Arab, who began to talk to her, and he was very charming. And little by little, he caught her eye. And she started to go back to the store more and more frequently, to have more conversations. And slowly but surely, he convinced her to run off with him and marry him. Riva wasn't ready to leave us. She wasn't ready to run off. But marry him? Yes, she decided she will. And she came home to us and told us that whether we like it or not, she's going to marry this young Arab boy. It was at that moment that my husband and I, we broke down in tears. This is our Riva, our Bat Yisrael. How could this happen to us? We hear stories like this from the other side of the world, but not our kids, not our family. I finally begged Riva, please, before you do something so drastic like this, before you throw away everything, please, talk to somebody. She wouldn't talk to anyone, till finally I mentioned, maybe she'll come and speak with Rebbitzen Kanievsky. It was at that moment that Rebbitzen Kanievsky, in her modesty, puts her head down. Oh, Riva, Rivala. And with tears in her eyes, she begins to hold Riva's hand and rub her hand and talk to her heart. Riva, you know what it means to be a Jew. You know that you're a princess of the King of Kings. And she begins to tell Riva the majesty and glory of what Judaism is about and what it means to be the daughter of Hashem. But it seems that how much Rebbitzen Kanievsky was speaking, the words were deflected from Riva's heart, and they rolled right off her back. And she continued to nod her head no. I decided, and that's it. I'm doing it. And I'm going to marry him. Rebbitzen Kanievsky again pleaded, but this time with a different angle. Riva, you have such a future. You have so much potential. You're going to lose it all. I'm sorry. I'm going to marry him. Riva, no. Listen to me, Riva. You're going to lose your family, your parents, your loved ones. No matter what Rebbitzen Kanievsky said, this girl's heart was made up. She's marrying this guy. She's marrying this Arab boy. Finally, Rebbitzen Kanievsky turns to her and says, okay, If that's the case, then can I ask you, can you do just one thing for me? One thing that you'll do every single day. That will be at least your last connection to Hashem. At least you'll still be connected to Jewish people. Take upon yourself just one thing to do every day. Riva, what would you like to do? Riva's thinking, and she says, I don't know. Rebbitzen Kanievsky says, I'm going to give you something simple, but you must do it every day without missing a day. I would like you to read one kapitel, one chapter of Tehillim every single day. Riva thinks. She says, okay. That's not that difficult. I can do that. I can read a chapter of Tehillim every day. Fine. Rebbitzen Kanievsky says, well, wait. Starting right now. Rebbitzen Kanievsky jumps out of her chair. She runs up to the Svarim. She pulls down a Tehillim. She walks back to Riva. She sits next to her, puts her arm around her, hands Riva the Tehillim and says, go ahead, open it up. And whatever page you're going to open to, we'll read together. Riva opens up the Tehillim. She opened to chapter 43, Kapitel Mem Gimel, and she began to read the words, Shofteni Elokim, Meriva Rivi, Migoy lo Hasid, Meish Mirma, Ve'avela Tefalateni. Avenge me, Hashem. Riva Rivi. Fight my cause. Rescue me from this man, the man of deceit, a man of iniquity. When Riva read these words, so randomly open to that page, she burst out crying. And she screamed, I can't marry him. I can't marry him. My name is Riva. I opened to the Passuk. Shofteni Elokim Meriva Rivi. Riva Rivi. That's me. That's Hashem talking to me. He's ready to fight my cause. He's ready to rescue me. Migoy lo chasid, meish mirma ve'avela tefalateni. I can't marry this guy. Hashem, save me from this ish mirma. Save me. Ay, Borei Olam, how did you do that? Kiviyachol. How beautiful. How beautiful. Rebbitzen Kanievsky kissed her and hugged her. And she told her that she insists that she comes back to her every week and they read together the Tehillim. And this girl from just a Passuk, with just a word, a Kabbalah, to do a little something, a tiny bit, that was all Hashem wanted. He wanted a baby step back in the direction of Borei Olam. That's what Borei Olam is telling us. Just turn your head to the door. Just look at me. Do something small, but show me that you care. Show me that you still believe in your story, in your words. You believe in your teshuvah. Only then can your teshuvah help you.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org